Hey there. Today I want to go over the topic of muscle imbalances. Now, it's a topic we need to cover so that you prevent injury. Typically, when you hear the term muscle imbalance, the first thing you think of is, well, somebody's got a bigger, more muscular upper body than they do a lower body. Or they're sporting Popeye forearms, making their upper arms look a little weak. Even what comes to mind is that, the dominant side looks bigger than the weaker side. All right, well, that is a type of muscle imbalance, but that's more of a symmetry problem. Just more or less means that somebody pays more attention to their upper body workout than they do their lower body workout, or they're not utilizing proper techniques and lifting for their weaker side. So it's more of a symmetry problem than it is a muscle imbalance. Yes, technically it is considered a muscle imbalance, but not in the means that I want to talk about today. When I talk about muscle imbalance, I'm talking about those muscles that tend to get neglected during our workouts. And those muscle imbalances can lead to injury, or they can stunt your progress if you're bodybuilding or trying to lose weight or trying to gain strength. So, if you recall, or you have not yet watched my two injury prevention videos, the one for the shoulder where we talk about those little stabilizing muscles that are internal underneath your big deltoid muscle out here, those little muscles called the rotator cuff. And the other one I talked about was for your elbow and working on that brachioradialis muscle in the upper portion of your forearm here. So let's get into the areas that are most commonly neglected, overlooked, or just completely forgotten. The number one being the extensors and flexors of your forearm. Now, the extensors and flexors, there's a lot of them. Each of your fingers has muscle or muscle groups that are connected to make them work, okay? And the lighting isn't real good, but you can kind of see a ripple when I move my fingers around. Yeah, those are the flexors and extensors. And when you grip, you might be able to feel the little furrows and ridges there that separate those muscles. Now, when I talk about flexors and extensors, the flexors are the ones that allow you to make a fist and grip. The extensors are the ones that allow your fingers to extend out, like when you're going to wave or when you're going to clap. So, flexors flex the fingers, extensors extend the fingers. Okay? So, you need to work on those. And there are specific little exercises that you can do to help build up those flexors and extensors and strengthen your forearm and the grip. Yes, you do work on them some when you do wrist curls, your reverse wrist curls, your palms up wrist curls, and any other kind of forearm exercises. Even when you do your reverse curls, you get some action and activity, but basically you're building here and you're building here when you're doing just a standard forearm workout. So I have some videos set up to show you how to work that grip strength. Okay? How to get those flexors and extensors built up. Another area that is very commonly overlooked is the rear or posterior deltoid. Now, we spend a lot of time doing overhead shoulder presses, bench presses, and lateral raises, which is all fine, but they work mostly the anterior portion, or the frontal deltoid, and the lateral deltoid. When you stick your arm out to the side and rotate so that your palm is facing backwards, you should be able to see the anterior head, the medial head, and the posterior or rear head of the deltoid muscle. If you can't, then you know that you're not working that properly, and there are a few exercises that I have for you later here that will show you how to work that rear deltoid head and help fill in the lateral belly of the deltoid muscle itself. Now, a weakness in the shoulder is probably one of the worst places that you can have a muscle imbalance, okay? Your shoulders you use in just about every aspect of weightlifting. You have to load weight plates onto the bar, so therefore you're lifting and putting them on. When you're doing curls, when you're doing overhead presses, when you're doing bench presses, when you're doing tricep extensions, almost every exercise you do, with the exception of pretty much your leg workouts, you're utilizing the shoulder. So having that rear head not built up to match the anterior and the lateral portion of the deltoid can be, a trigger for some injuries. So I have exercises that will help with that. And while I can't get my leg up here in front of the camera to show you, another place that we often miss building or working on is the lateral portion of our lower leg and the front, or the shin part. You have flexors and extensors that run laterally or down the sides, outer sides of your lower legs. And just like the flexors and extensors in your forearm, they control the extending and flexing of your toes. So if you reach down and put your hands along the outside of your lower leg and just wiggle your toes, you should be able to feel those muscles wiggling under there. So if you have strong calves and you're working on your calves a lot, you'll get some workout on those flexors and extensors, but not enough. So you need to take care of that muscle imbalance. And most importantly, if you've got strong calves and big calves, you need to really work on that frontal portion of your lower leg, the shin area. That big muscle that runs down along the outside of your shin and over the top of it is called the anterior tibialis. And it is quite often overlooked. So muscle imbalances of the lower leg can cause injuries to your upper legs, specifically knee injuries. So we don't want to have injuries because we overlook some of the smaller, seemingly insignificant muscle groups. So the flexors and extensors of the lower leg and of the forearm are some areas we want to work on. We also want to work on that anterior tibialis along the front of our lower leg, and we want to work on that rear deltoid. So I have some upcoming videos here for you that will show you how to take care of those muscle imbalances. You're going to see a lot of videos on grip strength because, as you know already, if you lift weights, you find that your forearms start to burn long before your target muscle does that you're trying to work, especially in lat pull downs, shoulder shrugs, any kind of bent rowing, or even seated rowing, sometimes in curls or in tricep extensions. Your forearms feel like they're going to burn out before you ever get that burn in your target muscle. And that's because we don't have our grip strength. So if we work on the grip strength, we'll find that we can take care of that, and our forearms will last much longer, and we can get the proper workout on the target muscles that we're aiming for. So, upcoming here, there will be a few exercises to show you how to correct that rear deltoid problem, some exercises to show you how to correct the neglect in the lower legs, and several grip strength videos. They're all good. Try to work them into your lifting programs or your training programs. You don't have to try and make sure that you use them every day or every time you work out, but you need to focus on giving those muscles some attention as well, so that you prevent injury and so that you also have some symmetry, which is not, like I said, our main focus of muscle imbalance. But be sure to give those little neglected muscles some time, put in some effort to work them, because a little effort on those muscles will go a long way towards the progress you make on your other muscle groups.